Welcome to all. Next, third method, simple exponential smoothing method. This is one of the important method in quantitative techniques. So everybody should remember the important formula used in this method. First, I would like to explain that formula. Ft plus 1. F stands for forecast. Forecast. T means time period. Ft plus 1 means forecast for the next period. Next period is equal to Ft means forecast for the current period. T means current period. T plus 1 means next period. T minus 1 means previous or old forecast. These are the various names. Plus forecast for the current period plus alpha into AT minus Ft. AT minus Ft. This is the important formula. Should be remembered while solving a problem on exponential smoothing method, where Ft plus 1 means forecast for the next period. Ft means forecast for the current period. Next, alpha. Alpha is equal to smoothing constant. Exponential smoothing constant. This value varies between 0 and 1. Minimum range is 0, maximum range is 1. Known as exponential smoothing constant. Here AT minus Ft is nothing but the forecast error. Where A is known as AT is nothing but the actual values for the current period. Actual values for the current period. Let us assume T, current period. So values mean, why I am calling it as values? It may be, value may be sales or value may be demand. Depending upon the given data, we can say actual sales or actual demand. So AT is nothing but the actual demand. Different textbooks gives you different terminology. In place of A, sometimes some books may give DT instead of AT. Therefore, some textbooks they may give DT or AT is same. That means actual values. It may be demand or it may be sales. Okay. This is the error in the forecast. So next, one more important point. That's why I am putting it as important point. Important note. In the examinations sometimes they may not give alpha value. Therefore we have to assume alpha value as 2 by n plus 1. This is the formula. Everybody should remember. If alpha value is given means directly you can consider that value. Otherwise, if not given means you have to assume this formula 2 by n plus 1. What is meant by n? Where n is the number of time periods considered. Number of time periods considered. For example, in the given problem, for 10 years data is given, means n is equal to 10. Sometimes 5 years data is given, therefore n is equal to 5, like that. So if it is 10, for example, if the n value, if n is equal to 10, what is the value of alpha? Alpha value is equal to 2 by 10 plus 1. That means 2 by 11. Denominator is more than numerator. Definitely this value should be less than 1. Less than 1. Therefore alpha value should be lies between 0 and 1. So this is the important note. Alpha value is equal to 2 by n plus 1. This formula is valid if the alpha value is not given. If it is given means directly consider given alpha value. Otherwise, by using this formula calculate alpha value, then proceed further. Finally, I can conclude ft plus 1 means forecast for the next period is equal to forecast for the current period plus alpha smoothing constant. This is a forecast error, difference between actual value and the forecast value. So this is the error. So we have to remember this formula always. In some test book, and also already sent a material to you, in that material you can observe formula like this. In some test books, they may use this type of formula, that is f suffix t means forecast for the current period is equal to ft minus 1. ft minus 1 means previous forecast or old forecast plus alpha into 80 minus 1, that means actual value for the previous period minus forecast values for the previous period. This is also correct. Formula. Anyone you can use, but concept is same. For example, I can take one example. We are going to forecast for the future period. Here future period may be December. Assume. So December means forecast for the December means forecast for the previous period. That means November. Forecast for the November plus alpha into actual value of the previous means November, it may be demand or sales minus forecast value of November. So this is the example. You can assume, you can guess similarly for any type of period like this. Okay.
The third method in time series method is simple exponential smoothing, also referred as single exponential smoothing in some books. So in this method is basically suitable for the data which is not having any trend or seasonal components in their characteristics. So the difference between the moving average and weighted moving average and this simple exponential smoothing method is that this method considers the error in the forecast that it calculated previously. So basically it's taking an input from the mistake that happened in the last forecast basically. So basically you can say it's learning from the previous mistake. So the expression for simple exponential smoothing is like this: the forecast for next period t plus 1 is the current forecast plus the error. The error is calculated as dt minus ft, the demand in current period t minus the forecast in current period t, which gives us the error, multiplied 1 by a smoothing constant. So this is alpha. This is called as exponential smoothing constant or coefficient. And alpha lies between 0 and 1, and this part is the error in the previous forecast ft. Okay, so forecasting for the next period is the forecast for current period plus the error in the current forecast multiplied by a smoothing constant called alpha. Okay, so this smoothing constant, the value of this constant will define that whether the next forecast, whether it is considering or giving weightage more to the current forecast or more to the current demand. So if alpha equal to 1, this implies ft plus 1 equal to, this is 1, right? ft plus dt minus ft, so which is giving x dt. That means when alpha is close to 1 or 1, the next forecast is giving more weightage to the current demand, whereas in case of alpha equal to 0, ft plus 1 equal to ft. So in case of alpha equal to 0, it's giving more weightage to the current forecast and ignoring the last demand. Okay, and if alpha equal to 0.5 in between, so then ft plus 1 will be equal to 0.5 into ft plus 0.5 into dt. So basically it is giving equal weightage to current forecast as well as current demand. So this is how exponential smoothing method calculates the next period forecast. So let us take an example to see how it calculates. So we have a question using this method in GATE 2015. So the question is like this: it is the demand for January month is given as 500. Similarly, the forecast for January month is given as 400, and demand for February month is given as 600, and the smoothing constant alpha is 0.75. So we need to find the forecast for March. So demand for Jan and February is given, and we need to find a forecast for March given the forecast for Jan, right? So using exponential smoothing method, because it is given, we got a smoothing constant as well, right? So in order to find forecast for March, we need forecast for Feb as per this expression, and then leave Feb minus forecast Feb into alpha. Okay, but forecast for February is not given as per the data. So first we need to find forecast February. So forecast for February will be forecast for Jan plus demand of Jan minus forecast of Jan into smoothing constant. And in this expression we have January forecast as well as demand for January. So if we calculate this, 400 plus 500 minus 400 into 0.75. Okay, so this comes to 400 plus the difference is 100 into 0.75, that will be 75 and 475. So forecast for February is calculated using the demand of January and forecast of January, and it comes to 475. Now using this we can calculate the forecast for March, that is 475 plus we got a demand for February, that is 600 minus forecast for February is 475 into 0.75. This is 475 plus this is 125 into 0.75, and this comes to 568.75. So this question you can see it's not straightforward that it is asking for forecast for March, right, without giving the forecast for February. So it's inherently asking two questions. Is asking two questions. Question one is to find the forecast for February first to arrive at forecast for March. Okay, so you need to understand the question how the data is given before attempting this method. Okay, now we will see another way of looking at this simple exponential smoothing. So the same expression I will rewrite. So dt is dt into alpha minus ft into alpha. This comes to alpha into dt plus 1 minus alpha into ft. So this is the same expression, just I multiplied this alpha into dt minus alpha into ft and rewritten these terms. So I took a common of ft. So if you see, to find the forecast for ft plus 1, that is the next period, recent demand, the current demand is getting a weightage of alpha, whereas current forecast is getting a weightage of 1 minus alpha. Okay, so and we know that what ft means, you know, right? Ft is, again, if you write the same expression with time period t, then it will consider alpha into dt minus 1. Forecast time period t, we will consider t minus 1 demand plus 1 minus alpha into ft minus 1. So I am writing the same expression for the current bucket. So if this is for next bucket, this is for current bucket. If you write for the previous period, it is ft minus 1, then it will consider the demand for t minus 2, the previous period of t minus 1, plus 1 minus alpha into ft minus 2. Okay, so if you observe these equations, so suppose say I substitute this ft here and this ft minus 1 here. Okay, then we will see what expression we will get. So this will be ft plus 1 equal to, we have alpha into dt plus 1 minus alpha into the ft, this expression, alpha into dt minus 1 plus 1 minus alpha into ft minus 1. So I just substituted this term here. Now rewriting this, alpha into dt plus alpha into 1 minus alpha into dt minus 1, multiplying these two terms and then multiplying these two, 1 minus alpha whole square ft minus 1. Okay, now again ft minus 1, I can substitute this equation here, so which will result in this term won't change. So this is alpha dt plus alpha into 1 minus alpha dt minus 1 plus this term will write down here, that will be alpha into 1 minus alpha whole square dt minus 2 plus 1 minus alpha whole cube into ft minus 2. Okay, so you can see that when I substitute these two equations here, you are getting an expression with multiple weightages. So recent demand is getting a weightage of alpha, and one period old demand is getting a weightage of alpha into 1 minus alpha, and 2 periods old demand data is getting a weightage of alpha into 1 minus alpha whole square, and the last period forecast is getting the lower weightage 1 minus alpha whole cube. Okay, so if we expand this for n observations or n demand points, so we will be getting the expression like this. I will write down here or here only. So that it is ft plus 1 equal to alpha into dt plus alpha into 1 minus alpha dt minus 1 alpha into 1 minus alpha n plus 1 and ft minus n. So if you see, if you compare this expression with our moving average expression, so what happened in simple moving average, we got a weightage 1 by n for dt, so you can write that expression dt plus 1 by n into dt minus 1 and so on, right? So whereas here the weightages are different, it is alpha here and alpha into 1 minus alpha and alpha into 1 minus alpha power n plus 1. So the weightages are different compared to simple moving average method. So when we plot these weightages, okay, I will just plot these weightages. So this will be t minus n and then t minus n plus 1 and t. So as I am considering from last n periods to the current period, and the weightage here, so this we can say weights. So this is alpha, this weightage, and this is alpha into 1 minus alpha and so on. This is alpha into 1 minus alpha whole power n. So the weightages are decreasing from current period to previous periods in an exponential way. That is, here it is alpha into 1 minus alpha. As we know, alpha lies between 0 and 1. So this number is less than this number because it is less than 1. So when we consider past n data points or past n observations, the weightages decrease in an exponential format. Okay, so that's why the name came from this exponential smoothing, right? So these weightages decrease as we go on from current period to nth last period. Okay, so this is how the exponential smoothing differentiates current observation to past observations. So the first thing is that it will give different weightages for different points, and it also considers all the demand points for the last all the observations that are part, whereas in simple moving average we will consider only some of the observations. So n moving average, using n moving average, here we consider all the demand points with different weightages, the highest weightage being given to the recent demand. And the smoothing constant is data dependent. So based on the data, if it is a stable demand, right, the stable demand alpha should be low. For unstable demand, which need to be given higher weightage. So if you see the recent demand is getting higher weightage here using alpha. So if alpha is more, close to 1, as I mentioned in previously, so ft plus 1 will tend to dt, that is a recent demand. So this is suitable for unstable demand. For unstable demand, we need to be close to the recent demand points, whereas for stable demand we need to, the alpha should be low. So that we consider all the observations, not just one observation, we will consider all observations. Okay, so exponential smoothing method is a very important method from GATE point of view. So it's giving consistently getting 1 or 2 marks question, and if it is a theory question, it will be little tricky to find out the answer, whereas the problems will be straightforward by substituting the relevant equations that we discussed. So please understand the theory behind this, so and remember the expression that is required for this. So basically it considers the error in the previous forecast, it gives different weightages for different data observations, and it considers all the data observations, all the past data observations in arriving at the forecast.
This is the same data that we had last time, 20 data points which are varying randomly around 135. I made the y-axis start at 120 so that we get a better visualization of the graph. We start, the alpha is a smoothing factor which we require. If you look at the screen here on the top left, there is something called as alpha. The alpha can vary between 0 and 1, the minimum is 0, the maximum is 1. We need this alpha to help us forecast using the exponential smoothing method. The formula is this one here. The forecast of the second period is equal to forecast of the first period plus alpha multiplied by the actual of the first period minus the forecast of the first period. This is the error term. So I'll repeat. The forecast of the second period is equal to the forecast of the first period plus alpha multiplied by the previous error. So the forecast of May would be forecast of April plus alpha multiplied by the actual minus forecast of April, which is the error in April. Like we said, alpha can vary between 0 and 1. We'll try to use various values of alpha and understand the behavior. Let's start with value of alpha as 0.3. No reason for taking this, just a random number, trial 1. We need a value to help us start, because if you look at the formula, that's actual minus forecast. I will use the average of all the demand numbers given as the first period forecast to help me start. Is this how it has to be done? No. Some people take the first period demand as, some people will take this as 134. It can also be taken as the average of some 4, 5, 6 values. If you use the same concept over a period of time, it does not matter how you start. So let's look at the formula here. Forecast of the second period is equal to the forecast of the first period plus alpha multiplied by bracket open actual minus forecast, bracket closed, enter. We get 135.05. Let's understand this first calculation here. It was the actual is 134 and forecast is 135. So what happens is the forecast of the second period is equal to forecast of the first period, which is 135.5 plus alpha which is 0.3, multiplied by the error, which comes out to be negative 1.5. Multiply this by 0.3 and we get negative 0.45. When we subtract 0.45 from 135.5, we get 135.05, what we have here. We fix up the cell for the smoothing, the row C$2, so that the smoothing factor is fixed, and after that I can double click here to get all the forecast values for the 20 periods. If I click on the graph and extend this, wait for the arrow to come and extend, what we see is that the forecast is relatively smooth as compared to the actual demand, which has higher variation. So there's a smoothing taking place. Let's look at alpha as 0.8 to understand. This is the trial 2 to understand how this works. In this case, it would we start with the average of the entire period as our starting point, and then say same number we say equal to previous forecast plus alpha multiplied by bracket open actual minus forecast, which is the error, and say enter, and we fix up the smoothing factor and then double click so that we get the values. Now let me include this forecast with alpha as 0.8. The green line, what you see in the green line is that it's more sensitive, it's varying. The variation is more than the blue line. So as alpha has increased, the ability to smoothen out the demand goes down. Let's understand this with two extreme values. Trial 3, we will do it with alpha as 0, which is the lowest value possible, equal to average of the existing demand values. We'll follow the same pattern that we have done, and then this period is equal to previous forecast plus alpha multiplied by bracket open actual minus forecast, which is again the error. We fix up the smoothing factor like we've always done and double click it. Now what you get here is that every period is exactly same. Okay, so it's completely insensitive. The first period forecast is the second period forecast is the third period forecast, irrespective of the actual demand. Now let's go to trial 4, where we take alpha as the other extreme, that is 1. We start with the average of all the demand. This is how we have always done it. So this is the first period. This equals the previous forecast plus alpha multiplied by bracket open actual minus forecast, bracket closed, enter. Let me fix up the smoothing factor dollar and double click this. Alright, now look at this extreme. This was the first period actual demand was 134. The second period forecast is 134. The second period actual is 143. Third period forecast is 143. The third period actual demand was 144. The fourth period demand is also 144. Now this is what we call as naive forecasting, which is a highly sensitive forecast where the previous period's actual becomes the next period's forecast. So what we have here, when alpha was 0, it was a very insensitive method. The forecast did not change at all, like you can see on the trial 3. And when alpha it's 1, it's a highly sensitive forecasting method, like naive forecasting, where the previous period's actual becomes the current period's forecast. We use this and some other considerations in helping us decide the value of alpha that we will use to forecast. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please do like this video on YouTube. Thank you.
Let us look at another example of forecasting. In this example, we'll focus on exponential smoothing with the measurement of error. The monthly demand for units manufactured by the Maxus Manufacturing Company is given to us. For the month of May, the demand was 100. For June, 80, July, 110, and so on. So this is nothing but the actual demand for these months. Now what we are being asked to do is use the exponential smoothing method to forecast the number of units for June till January. So we have the actuals, but we want to find out what would be the forecast based on exponential smoothing method. And we have to do that for months June, July, August, September, October, November, December and Jan. The initial forecast for May was 105 units. So the forecast for May has been given as 105 units and the value of alpha is 0.2. B. Calculate the absolute percentage error for each month from June through December and the mean absolute deviation and mean absolute percentage error of forecast error as of the end of December. And C. Calculate the tracking signal as of the end of December. So let's try to solve this example. So this is the information that has been provided to us. I have listed months from May through January. We have been given the actual demand for May through December and we have been given the forecast for the month of May. We have also been given the value of alpha, which is equal to 0.2. Now let's note down the formula for calculating forecast using the exponential smoothing method. So as per the exponential smoothing method, forecast for period t is equal to the forecast for period t minus 1 plus alpha into bracket the actuals for period t minus 1 minus the forecast for period t minus 1. So basically if we have to calculate the forecast for June, what we need is the forecast for May and the actuals for May along with the value of alpha. So let's start calculating. So forecast for June will be equal to the forecast for May, which is 105 plus 0.2 into bracket the actuals for May, which is 100 minus the forecast for May, which is 105. So let me pull my calculator here. So we'll first calculate the bracket, which is 100 minus 105. Then we'll multiply this with 0.2 and then add 105. So the forecast is 104. Let's move to the next one, which is July. So this will be equal to the forecast for June, which is 104 plus 0.2 into bracket 80 minus 104. Now this was 104. So 80 minus 104 multiplied by 0.2 plus 104. So this is 99.2. So this is 99.2, which can be rounded off to 99, and we can note the same here. So 99. So here we got the rhythm, right? So basically taking the previous period and actuals minus the forecast, so 110 minus 99 multiplied by alpha and then plus the forecast, which is 99. So let's do the same for August without writing it down here, directly on the calculator. 110 minus 99 multiplied by 0.2 plus 99. So 101.2. So we can round it off to 101. Now you can do it two ways. You can either round off the values and then calculate the subsequent values using the rounded off number, or you can continue calculating with 1 decimal point. If you calculate with 1 decimal point, the calculation may be a little more tedious, but it may be more accurate. So that I'll leave up to you. Now forecast for September. So 115 minus 101 multiplied by 0.2 plus 101. So 103.8, and let's round it off to the next number, which is 104. Next, 105 minus 104 multiplied by 0.2 plus 104. So 104.2, we will round it off to the number 104. Next, for November, so 110 minus 104 multiplied by 0.2 plus 104. So 105.2. So let's round it off to 105. Next, 125 minus 105 multiplied by 0.2 plus 105. So 109. And for January, 120 minus 109 multiplied by 0.2 plus 109. So 111.2, which can be rounded off to 111. So we have calculated the forecast for the months of June, July, August, September, October, November, December and January using the simple exponential smoothing method. So that completes part A of the question. Now part B of the question says that calculate the absolute percentage error for each month. So absolute percentage error for each month from June to December. And then calculate the mean absolute deviation and mean absolute percentage error as of the end of December. So this too is for December. Now first we have to find out the absolute percentage error for June through December. Now again, this is absolute percentage error. This is not the mean absolute percentage error. So what is absolute percentage error? So the absolute percentage error will be, first we have to find out the error, and error is the actual minus the forecast for period T. We have to do the percentage, so this we have to find a percent as compared to the actual forecast, and percentage means multiply by 100, and we have to take the absolute value of this. Now the actuals cannot be negative and 100 is not negative, but this value actual minus forecast can be negative, so we'll take the absolute value of this. So first let's find out the error, which is AT minus FT. Right, so we have completed this part, AT minus FT. Then we have to take the absolute value. So absolute value of AT minus FT, which is the error, and then we will find out the absolute percent error, which will be AT minus FT, taking the absolute value of this, divided by AT multiplied by 100. Now we have to calculate these from June to December. So for June, AT minus FT is minus 24. For July, 110 minus 99, which is 11. August, 115 minus 101, it is 14. September, 105 minus 104, which is 1. October, 110 minus 104, which is 6. For November, 125 minus 105, which is 20. For December, 120 minus 109, which is 11. Now we have to take the absolute value. So absolute value means that we have to ignore the sign. So negative becomes positive. Positive remains as is. Next we have to find out the absolute percent error. So for June this will be 24 divided by the actuals, which is 80, and multiplied by 100. So 24 multiplied by 100 divided by 80, this is 30%. Then 11 multiplied by 100 divided by 110, so this is 10%. Next is 14 multiplied by 100 divided by 115, so this is 12.17. We can round it to 12.2%. Next is 1 multiplied by 100 divided by 105, so this is 0.95. We'll round it off to 0.9%. Next is 6 multiplied by 100 divided by 110, so 5.45, so 5.4%. Next is 20 multiplied by 100 divided by 125, so this is 16%. And for December, 11 divided by 120 multiplied by 100, so 11 multiplied by 100 divided by 120, so this is 9.16. Let's round it off to 9.2%. So we have found out the absolute percentage error for June through December. Next we have to find out the mean absolute deviation. So let's see, what is mean absolute deviation? So mean absolute deviation is AT minus FT, which is the error, and the absolute value of this, so the absolute value. And since we are calculating these for multiple periods, so we have to take the sum where t equals to 1 through n, where n is the number of observations that we are considering, and since we have to take the mean, so we divide this by n. Now we have already found out the absolute value of AT minus FT for June through December, and here we are considering n as 7, that is June through December only. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. So we have already found out the AT minus FT, the absolute value of this for individual periods. Now we have to take a sum of all of these, so let's add these up. So 4 plus 1 5, plus 4 9, plus 1 10, plus 6 16, plus 1 17, 1 carry over, 2 plus 1 3, plus 1 4, plus 1 5, plus 2 7, plus 1 8. So the value of mean absolute deviation is 87 divided by 7, because n is 7, so this is equal to 12.4. Next we have to find out the value of MAPE. mean absolute percent error. So this is equal to, so first is the error, that is AT minus FT, the percentage value divided by AT, the absolute. So we have to take a sum of all of these, t equals to 1 through n, multiply this by 100 and divide by n, because we have to take the mean. So we have already found out this part for each of the periods. Now we have to take a sum of all of these. So let's add these up. So 30 plus 10 plus 12.2 plus 0.9 plus 5.4 plus 16 plus 9.2. So this is 83.7%. 83.7%. So the numerator is 83.7, denominator is 7. So this becomes 11.9%. So this is the value of mean absolute percentage error. So here we have completed part B. Now let's move to part C, which is calculate the tracking signal as of the end of December. So C is to find out the tracking signal. Now tracking signal is nothing but the ratio of running sum of forecast error divided by the MAD. Now we have found out the value of MAD in the last step, which came out to 12.4, and we have to find out the value of running sum of forecast errors. Now running sum of forecast error is, as the name suggests, the sum of forecast error, which is equal to sigma AT minus FT, where T equals to 1 to n. So what this means is we have to take the sum of all these values with the sign as they are. So this is not the absolute value, this is the as is value. So let me pull my calculator here. So 24 negative plus 11 plus 14 plus 1 plus 6 plus 20 plus 11, and this is equal to 39. So this value is 39. So our tracking signal becomes 39 divided by 12.4, which is equal to 3.14.